Okay, so hello and welcome back to another Unity tutorial. In this one we're going to be doing part 5 of the FPS tutorial series. So in this one we're going to be covering making the base gun class and having a few variations. There are going to be very slight variations, so we can have a different maybe damage fall off, so this weapon can't shoot as far as this one, and then this one does more damage, so on. We'll just have different stats basically for the weapons, and then obviously we can move on to making it so the different weapons are automatic or not. Making it so that you can scope in on a sniper, for example. We'll eventually get to that, but this one is just basically being able to swap out different weapons that have different stats. So first of all, I want to say thanks to my donators on Patreon, Paul Robinson, Phil Baum and Wesley, and thanks for the donations. If anyone else wants to help support, the link is in the description below. Okay, so last time we got to this point where you can press play and you can shoot things and deal damage. It's great, isn't it? So these guys, the health bars go down. Now you might want to make it so the health bars aren't always visible. Make it so maybe the health bars only appear after you've hit them once, which is easy enough to do. But we're not going to bother doing that, to be honest. I'll just leave the health bars on, it's fine. Maybe I'll change it later, but anyway. What we need to do is we need to have a class for gun, and then we need to derive with different types of gun and so on. So what we can do is in the scripts folder, we can create a C# script called gun. And let's open that up. So gun is going to be a scriptable object, okay? Like so. And if it's a scriptable object, we want to be able to create asset menu, file name, new gun, not fun, new gun, comma, menu name equals gun. And close brackets, sorry. Okay, so let's just get rid of this and zoom in. So gun, the base class for gun. Now how classes works with object-oriented programming is the top class, the base class, is where we store all the logic that is the same for every single type of gun in this situation. So every gun will have a minimum damage and a maximum damage, and we'll care about like headshot stuff later. But for now we're just gonna have damage anywhere on the body. So it'll be min damage, max damage, and then fall off. So maybe like the minimum. The maximum distance you can shoot with it, and then the fall off with the weapon. So maybe you'll say, as you get further away, we'll reduce the damage to a minimum where the maximum range is, or so on. Like, we can tweak this how you want, your mechanics to work. So you don't have to copy it exactly how I do it, but you can if you want. We'll obviously make things how we do it now, and then in future videos, if people want to change it, or if I think there's a better way to do it, then obviously we can change that in the future. But for now, all a gun will store is we might as well store a name, so we can have a public string weapon name, or gun name, I don't know. Let's just go, gun name. I would have to declare it really. And we want, a name, then we'll have a public integer for the min damage, so minimum damage, and maximum damage. Okay, and then we'll have a public. This could be float. We'll go for float just to be just in case you really want to be that precise. But float maximum range. Now, just to be just another thing you can do is you can write inside of square brackets. You could write header, and then you can write stats, for example. So that if we go back into Unity, let's give it a second. We'll go to our scriptable objects folder and create a new folder for now called guns. And in here we'll create a new gun, and we'll just call it pistol. Just keep it simple for now, pistol. I'm no gun expert, by the way, but hey. So the minimum damage, how much health do these guys have? In the enemy stats, he has 100 health. So let's say for this pistol, the minimum damage, so from really far away, maybe it's like 5. Like if you hit them from like miles away, it might be 5. But if you hit them close up, it might be 35, for example. I don't know, whatever you want. And then the maximum range in units. Well, let's just see. So what the player's at 0 and this guy's at 11. Obviously, you want to be able to hit him from here, but you want to be able to hit him from pretty far away. I mean, in reality, you want almost infinite range in a game like this. You don't really want to have a maximum range for the raid cast. So I might actually tweak how that works. Rather than having a maximum range, just have like a range where we reach our minimum damage. Then anywhere from then on just does the minimum damage. So, you know what? We'll just do that, to be honest. We'll just do that. We'll leave it as it is, that same stat, but we'll treat it as the maximum range for no damage. So if we go back to here, for example, we are at we are currently at -15, and that's at 11. So what we'll say pistol is like 25 to 30 or something. It's up to you. Same way, we've got those stats, and now because it's a scriptable object, we can duplicate it and say sniper. Obviously, keep it simple. Maximum range might be ridiculous. Well, that was already pretty big, so we'll go for like 50. Maximum. Oh, whoops! I've done the minimum and the maximum wrong. 35. Now let's say the sniper can do like I don't know, 60. That's not headshot, that's body shot. Maximum 60. But then the minimum damage can also be 60. We'll say that doesn't matter the range. The range is just 60. So rather than that being between 5 and 35, this is 60. Now, obviously, we're not going to add the fire rate now, like the time between shooting. We're just going to say it shoots and it does different, it has different stats. But now we've made those stats on these scriptable objects. We want to be able to use them. So on our player, we can now basically get rid of the silly having the shooting on the player camera. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not the best way to go about it. So we'll add another object under the player camera, and the reason we'll put it under the camera is because if the camera rotates, well, actually, then again, yeah, we do want that actually. So we'll go create an empty game object under the camera called weapon holder or something like that. And on here, let's say, for example, we had a 3D object. Let's just say we get a cube. And let's just treat this as if it was a gun. I'm just going to go for a cuboid, quite simply. So if I bring the game view over here, and we just bring it forwards, down, across, and then let's just... you get the idea. Now, to be honest, because it's a FPS, you know, you expect that to be aimed there. It still looks a bit silly. Obviously, a gun wouldn't normally stick into you like this. We could just make it shorter. I could even, if you really wanted, just create another little cube under that, and then shove that back. Extrude it that way. Now, obviously, I would normally do this in an actual modeling software and all, but you get the gist. It's just a simple thing for now. It looks stupid, but it works. So now we can move this thing forwards and tilt it in. I don't know where the guns usually appear on the screen. Let's just say that works for now, okay? There's our gun. Now let's just call it a test pistol. Okay. We'll go put that in the prefabs folder. I mean, this is all just placeholder stuff, because obviously it's always good to prototype what you're doing. And what we want to do is we want to write some code on here to handle changing between the different weapons. So what we can do is we can say weapon changer. But it's going to be more than just changing, isn't it? Weapon handler. I know I spelled something wrong there. Handler, like so. And okay, so what does the weapon handler do? Well, it must store a current gun basically to use. Serialized field. I mean, we're going to have different ways of swapping weapons later, maybe picking them up and pressing different number keys. But for now, we'll just say whichever one they've got when we press start. So they store a gun called current gun. And let's also go to the gun and add a public game object. Public game object gun prefab. Now, I'm not going to bother the whole like lining it up properly at the moment, but we'll just add that anyway. Now, so yeah, the weapon holder has a current gun, and all it's gonna do is it's gonna basically have the update function that we currently have in the camera. So wherever we have a check for shooting, we can remove that. And we'll take this check for shooting, cut it out. We don't want it here anymore. We want to put it in the weapon handler. Now, that's never going to get called, so we want a private void update check for shooting. So we're going to handle that in here now. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is exactly the same. The only difference is now the place where we fire it from was the camera, which is what we want to fire it from. Problem is, we're not on the camera anymore, so it's not going to fire it from there. So what we want to do is actually we want to have a private... we could have a private transform, so we'll say private transform yeah, camera transform, and in the private void start we will say camera transform is equal to camera.main.transform. So we get the transform of the main camera, which is the only one that exists, so it's the player camera. And then down here, instead of saying transform.position, we'll say camera transform.position. And then the forward vector and so on. And yeah, we'll say infinity there. So now it's still going to just deal 10 damage. So rather than that, how about for now, we'll just do the simple doing whatever the max damage is of our gun. Okay, so current gun, so what we can say is deal damage, current gun, dot maximum damage. So let's just go for that. Go with that for right now, okay? So what happens now is when we shoot, we're actually going to shoot the our gun's damage. So if I went in here and said pistol, the max damage for a pistol, I think I set it to 35. So if we press play, then it should deal 35 damage. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Whereas if I now go and actually, oh, did I not sort out the constraints? Well, I'll care about that in a minute. When does that happen? That's interesting. But anyway, if I... Yeah, it's fun. Okay, I will check that out in a minute. Sniper. So if we're on the sniper, it should do 60 damage now. So, bang, 60 dead, 60 dead, 60 dead. Okay, so it's using the right stats off the scriptable object, which is nice. But we actually want to do a bit more than that here. Like when we do this, we can split this up into more functions, but you know, for now I'm just doing this. So rather than just dealing damage, when we actually get this raycast hit, we can also get the distance and everything, like that it traveled to hit the target. So if damageable is not null, then we want to like calculate the damage before we deal it. So then we can say we want to say the damage to deal is actually going to be mathf.lerp. So we want to say, well, no, we don't want to say lerp. We want to deal damage between, where is it gone? We want to deal damage between minimum and maximum. Well, sorry, maximum and minimum, because we want to go to the minimum as we get further away. Over, sorry, until we get to maximum range. If we're at maximum range, we should be dealing this 0 or the minimum damage at maximum range. Now, the way you would do this is we go. I'm actually forgetting because I'm silly and maths and mathf functions. Actually, what I do want to do, let's just put this back in as the damage. Current gun dot maximum damage we'll go with for now. I want to make it so we'll do the stats, the weapon like fall off damage next time. I just want to get this little gun swap thing changing, or not necessarily the swap, but so let's just quickly go to this test pistol. Duplicate it. and we'll just disable this first one. So we'll call this test sniper. And what do we really want to do differently for this? I mean, to be honest, we could just say the sniper has a longer thing, but obviously with the cube below it, it's going to scale the cube as well. Let's just get rid of the cube, to be honest. You can just detach the cube from its parent. It's not letting me. I'm not completely used to this new system. I don't really like. Well, I do like it, but I'm just not used to it yet. Can we just get rid of the cube, please? There we go. Let's just make that longer, and then U 3D cube small. Get a bit longer. Go over here. Make it a bit thinner. That's obviously a ridiculously stupid looking gun. I'm gonna definitely make the top bit. I want to scale it down. Oh, okay, it's changed that. Never mind. I don't care. I just want to go back now. I've ruined everything. Okay. Alright. We'll just create a separate one. So the test pistol prefab, and then I'll create an entirely new one. So create a 3D object cube, and where you want to, what I'll do is I'll set it to the here. Set its position. Want to get it to like the center. And then all I want to do is just detach it. So now it's independent, and preferably just set all this back. I'm still confused as to why the scale is ridiculous right now. Oh, because it's it's relative to the parent. Okay. So yeah, want to get about the same rotation. Want to go for a bit longer. I mean, this is not the most ideal way to model, of course. It's just for this testing purpose. And under this we can have a cube that we can shrink. I'm getting it now at last. Let's disable that pistol. Put that to 0 so it's centered, and then go down a bit. That looks ridiculous, but hey. Why not? No, we do want to kind of shrink that a bit, don't we? Still ridiculous, but hey, test sniper. And we will apply that prefab. Alright, so we've got two stupid looking weapons, okay? Now, what we want to do is we want to say on our guns. I keep putting guns. I mean, F is next to G. So pistol. We've got pistol prefab. Test pistol. Okay, test pistol. And then sniper, we got test sniper. Now, this weapon holder. Like if we go back now and we go to our prefabs, if we spawn in this on the weapon holder, it actually does go to the right position, but the problem is, I think if you instantiate, it doesn't actually work that simply. Or have I positioned... No. I'll show this in action. So if I, for example, start off by saying, just instantiate current gun dot gun prefab gun prefab comma, and then the transform parent would be transform. So I want to parent it to this, then we should probably get a problem with that, is that it's not going to spawn in the right place. But if it does, then that's good. I'm not actually 100% certain, unless it keeps the prefabs desired, or it just didn't spawn it. full stop. Maybe because the weapon handler script is not on there. Pistol, play. Oh, it actually worked. That's quite surprising. It kept the transform, which is nice. So what we can do now is we can have a private game object. So private game object current gun prefab, and all we want to do is we want to say current gun prefab is equal to that, and then let's say this is just a really this is just a way for me now to switch between two. So we'll just say if input dot get key down key code dot alpha 1. We'll just say let's have a private list of type gun called guns equals new list of type guns. So we have a list of guns, and when we start, we'll just say current gun. We'll say guns 0. So just the top gun for now. And then when we press 1, we want to say destroy current gun prefab instantiate. And then we'll say current gun prefab is equal to instantiate. We'll spawn in guns 0 dot gun prefab at our transform, and then just put else if input dot get key down key code dot alpha 2. So just the number 2 key. We'll just do the same. We'll spawn in the number 1. Alright, so if I now pass in, now this is obviously very temperamental, it's going to break very easily if we actually try to implement that properly. Alright, we need to know the current gun as well. So we should just store a private gun current gun. I want to put that there, to be honest. And whenever we do this, I can just say current gun is equal to gun 0. Current gun is equal to guns 0, and then current gun is equal to guns 1. This, as I keep saying, this is not the best way to do it. This is just a way of us getting it working for now whilst we work on other things. And we just want to be able to switch between the weapons now and do different things. So if we go to the weapon holder and we just go and put guns, so we'll just say size 2, and we'll say this is a pistol and this is sniper, and we press play. We're going to spawn in with the pistol, and I'm going to press 2 and we go sniper, pistol, sniper. If I press the same button again, it's just going to not do anything. But as you see, we've got some pretty stupid models going on here. But if I press pistol, low damage, press sniper, big damage, and then I can change. Okay, so that's basically this video done. We've got the weapon switching and having the damage based off the weapon. It's already 23 minutes long, so next video we'll start off by doing the weapon fall-off damage, and then I might even add in maybe some particle effects when we shoot, or like little sound effects just to make it give it some more feel. Obviously the sniper looks ridiculous. I might actually make something off camera, I'm not sure. I might do a video on Blender modeling some weapon stuff rather than trying to make it in thingy. Oh, and before we end, let's go to our player. What has gone wrong with you? So let's just freeze rotation on the Y, because I feel like that's physics rotation, not like we can still look at. That's interesting. The reason is actually because I'm silly. If we go to our prefabs, the pistol shouldn't. Neither of them should have. They should be trigger colliders rather than actual colliders. Because the problem is, if they're normal colliders, they will quite literally collide with the player and cause problems for us. But now that shouldn't happen. So if we press play, I hope that doesn't happen. No, we can bring our cursor up. It doesn't mess up like that. It's fine. It was just because of a collision detection in front of each other. But yeah, that works, so that's great. Obviously, we can move on to the rest that I've just talked about, but I hope you like the series so far. Obviously, we're making good progress. Now we can switch weapons. It's starting to feel more like an FPS. Obviously, still got plenty to do. So I hope you stay around. Obviously, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. It'd mean a lot. But apart from that, thanks for watching, and goodbye.